Well, an exciting weekend of college football coming to an end, and if you're a Gamecock fan, obviously not the most exciting of times as USC falls to Kentucky 45-38 in Lexington, dropping their second conference game in a row. And now we are joined by Michael Haney from 107.5 The Game, taking some time out with us to talk some USC football and a little bit of Clemson. First, let's get into it with USC, and I guess I'll ask you the most obvious question. Where do you go from here?
Well, Derek, it's just being able to find some type of silver lining, and I don't know if there is one right now for this team. There's a few guys that have done some good things, but really hard to find a lot of positives and feel positive about where things have gone for South Carolina these last two football games. It's one thing to lose to Missouri the way that you did. Sometimes you chalk it up to things happen, you lose a late lead. It's sports. When it happens for the second straight week in almost the same exact fashion, that shows that there are some deeper issues there for this football team.
You know, you try and take some positives from this football game. Not really many because they lost and they should have won. But one that stood out was the fact that Mike Davis kind of had his resurgence moment. You know, I mean, he had an unbelievable game running the football, nearly 200 yards rushing. Can they build off of that?
Well, part of the frustration is the fact that he did have such a great game. He had a career night. He had 183 yards, even banged up. He's a guy that still didn't have another carry from the 8-minute mark on as South Carolina watched another lead blow away in the wind, and another embarrassing loss for them right now. So it is positive. This offensive line did look good at times the other night, Derek. Mike Davis did run hard. The other running backs did look good at times in what they were trying to do. But part of the frustration right now with this team and how this particular loss went down is they got away from it, and they didn't do the things that got them that big lead in the first place.
Well, you know, Steve Spurrier did say after the game, the team's got to learn how to finish. So we will look at this week as a bye week for the Gamecocks, and they can try and focus on, you know, getting better at doing that, which is, you know, finish football games, because they have not been able to do it the past 2 weeks. On the other side, Tiger Town feeling a lot better about themselves, especially after putting in Deshaun Watson a couple weeks ago. That looks like the best move that Dabo Swinney could have made to turn that season around for him, pretty much. How has this freshman been able to play so well early on in such hostile environments, especially, you know, when you consider he played well against Georgia and he also played well against Florida State, but now he's starting to win football games as he's the starter now.
Yeah, he was a rare combination of talent. There was a lot of hype coming in about Deshaun Watson. These five-star guys get a lot of that hype. Sometimes they don't pan out, sometimes they do. Deshaun Watson looks like he's going to be that guy that pans out right now for Clemson. A very special athlete, smooth player right now, and what he's been able to show. They found a ground game against NC State this past week with his abilities to be able to move outside of the pocket and do some things with his legs as well. He's just a very, very good player, polished athlete, and somebody that Clemson fans were excited about going into the season. Chad Morris really wanted to get Deshaun Watson a lot more opportunities earlier in this season. He finally got his wish. He played well against Florida State. No excuse not to keep playing him, and Clemson fans deserve to be as excited as they are right now about this guy. He's going to be very, very good for the next few seasons. South Carolina had Jadeveon Clowney for 3 years and got a lot of hype. Clemson's about to get that with Deshaun Watson.
Well, we'll see what he can do this weekend. Got a Louisville team coming in. Bobby Petrino should be a very good football
He's already
game.
saying that Death Valley's not
That's
very,
right.
not very loud.
That's
It can't
right.
be louder in the Carrier
That's
Dome,
right?
right?
You saw that actually earlier in the show. Clemson, Louisville on Saturday. Michael Haney from 107.5 The Game joining us. Mike, thanks so much for being with us. That's going to do it for sports. We're back after this.